So YouTube's back up. No, it's done. Well, hang on. I can just copy it from YouTube. Once you hit
Just so
start
I
on
can share
YouTube,
the
I can
link.
go.
Shoot me the link though, Lawton.
Son of a gun! Darn.
Let me know when that text goes through so I can reshare it and get people back on here, hopefully.
That's a new link. Old one died. R.I.P.
R.I.P. All right, I got it.
We have 2 watchers. I think one's me though.
We're back.
We are back. The stream. Ryan had to go pee real fast. We're back now. Everything's fine. We're on to the next fight.
Yep, let's move it on.
We just talked about Jared Gonzalez and Jacob Fry. Now we are going into the biggest kickboxing match. Say that. I'm not showing favoritism, but I feel like this is the biggest kickboxing match on the card right here. We've got Sugar Shane, the Dublin Hurricane Tui, fighting Devontae Cheney. Boxing match at Black Tie. These two guys are going to be fireworks right here. Watching Shane Tui. Go ahead.
Devontae, his skill level is crazy. His reach, his combos. But like you were just about to say, watching Shane fight, I mean, he hits hard.
Dude.
He hits really hard.
The question mark kicks, the straights down the pipe. I mean, everything that he was doing in that fight. And it was just an exhibition match. It was last minute. He just came prepared. So I can only dream or think about or imagine what the heck he's going to pull out of his hat with a full camp. A little bit about Shane Tui. He quite possibly has the best nickname in all of combat sports. Sugar Shane, the Dublin Hurricane Tui. And he has the accent to go with it.
Yeah.
It can't get much better than that. His last fight was a exhibition. It was a last-minute fill-in just to make sure we had at least 10 fights on the card at Hub City. And he delivered a very impressive performance that I'm sure is what really got him this fight with Javante. Performance, he's got crazy kicks he pulls out of a hat, but his opponent is not an easy task at all. This is one you really have to train for in Devontae Cheney. He's 5-0 in kickboxing, 4 KOs. Missed weight for his last fight at Hub City, and so it didn't go on. So I'm hoping that isn't an obstacle this one, because this fight is very exciting. He's got a lot of power in his hands. He switches up his levels in striking. He goes body, head, kicks, legs, everything. I mean, this is a very exciting matchup. You have anything else you want to add to this one, Ryan?
So we shouldn't have a weight issue. You know, that last fight was at 145. This one's at 155. So I'm hoping the weight's not going to be an issue. If you like kickboxing, this is your match. This will be fireworks. I don't know if they both got knockouts. I don't see this being a knockout. I see this being a drag down,
Yeah.
a war. This could go to the decision. I hope it does. That we get more action if it does. So I look forward to that fight. It's going to be a great one. If you love kickboxing, make sure you're watching this.
Yeah, and so the excitement of fights continues after that one for sure. 180-pound fight, Wallace McCoy Jr. taking on Jared the Juggernaut Travis. Guys hit like freaking tanks.
Man, so I haven't seen any of these guys come in person, either one of those guys. But they're kind of like where we're talking about early with their background, their coaches, the gym they come from. I've heard great things about Jared Travis and how tough he is. He's only fought on attitude. So he's coming over here to this promotion, giving us a trial. I'm excited. He looks the part. If you've seen a picture of him,
dude, he looks like a juggernaut.
Yeah, he is. If you watch it, I've seen like clips of some stuff he posts. I mean, he's not, you think juggernaut, you think, a brawler. And don't get me wrong, he can brawl, but he has wrestling. Like I said, he comes from, training with Zach Underwood and Andy Urick over there at Memphis. So that's just like any other or most other gyms. Those guys aren't just sending their guys out to fight. They're going to make sure they're prepared and ready. And Wallace McCoy, he's been begging me to get him on a card for the longest. He's hard to match. He's fought at 205. I think he's fought a heavyweight before. He's a big dude, a good wrestler. That's gonna be an interesting fight, man. That's very two high level one. It's a catchweight fight, so Jared's wanting to move down. So this is 180. That's right, 180.
He's wanting to move down
to 170. He's wanting to work his. Yeah. I don't know what he walks at, but I guess it's doable. I guess he can make 170. I don't know.
Tall he is, but with how stocky he is, I can't imagine with 170.
I guess. I think that's where he's going, yeah.
Dude, so Wallace McCoy Jr., getting back into the regional scene, right? The local scene. So a lot of these names I'm kind of learning as I'm going. And Wallace McCoy Jr., I looked him up on Tapology, and you see his record is 2-2, and you're like, oh, it's whatever. But 2 of his fights were against number 1 in their states, and he's ranked number 4 in Kentucky. So it's like 2-2, but he's fought, like you said, like the best that you possibly can. So
exactly.
With the mix of that, and then with Jared Travis just being like the juggernaut, the powerhouse that he seems to be in the videos that I'm watching, this fight is excitement written all over it. One of Travis's fights, Keaton Clinton got the knockout of the night at Hub City MMA back in November. He had a TKO over Clinton and at Attitude. So that was I think that was his first fight, was against Keaton Clinton, and he had a TKO. He dropped him, I think, in the first round. That was a slugfest from the very beginning, it seemed like. So I can't wait for those 2 guys. And those 2 guys really set us up for the biggest fights of the night, the title fights. There's 3 of them you had hinted at. Familiar names on here, a lot of really good talent on here. I can't wait to really get into these. So starting off with a featherweight title fight, 145, we've got Devin Evans versus Marjoe Kirby. Devin Evans and Correno Blanchard fought at Hub City MMA for what was supposed to be the lightweight contender fight, but it's been moved to featherweight, I see. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we booked that at lightweight, but both of them, Devin, he knew that it would be 145. Because he's getting ready to go pro, so he's fought at 145 before, and he knows he can make 145 no problem. So that's why we're going. He's going to be at 145, so that's why we're making sure we do could be his last amateur fight, maybe 2 more. And man, Devin's one of my. He's grown, man. He's fought for us a lot. He's one of my favorite fighters. One of the most polite guys if you talk to him. In the cage, respectful after the fight. You can't beat that type of guy. Very skillful. Comes from a great gym. Hayes MMA. Gage Mitchell, one of his training partners, has fought for us. Was our 135, maybe 125 champion. That's gonna be, man. That to start the title fights off. That's gonna be a very interesting fight. Man, I don't know what if you went back and watched any video of those guys, but it's going to make for a good fight.
Kirby's kind of hard to find videos on. I've tried to look on YouTube and things like that, and he has a YouTube channel, but he just has a couple shorts on there. But whenever you pull up his Tapology, he's on a 3-fight win streak, and that's not easy to come by. So I automatically assume that it's going to be a really good fight, judging based off of the people that Devin Evans has fought, the way that he performed against Carreno back in Hub City, and then, Marjoe Kirby being on that 3-fight win streak. So that's a heck of a way to start off our title fights that night.
And Kirby asked for this fight. So usually when you ask for a fight, and he obviously he's deserving, he's on a win streak. When you ask for a fight, though, there's something he sees there that he thinks, he thinks obviously he thinks he can win this fight, but there's something he sees where he wanted that specific challenge. So it's going to make for a good fight, man. I'm excited to see. He's from Rocket City. They how tough they are. They fight all the time. So it's going to make for a good first title fight of the night.
Heck yeah, and I think the second one even follows it up even better. 155 lightweight title fight. Jermaine Shinobi Anthony versus the Melanin Shinobi. We got a battle of Shinobis in the co-main event. Easton McLean. This fight right here, I knuckle sandwich. With the Hub City MMA fights, we got to really get to know Jermaine Anthony with him fighting Lane Rowe in the main event. We did the press conference and things like that. Dude, Jermaine is such a nice guy, but he is so focused on his goal, and he knows what he wants, and he's not afraid to talk, but he knows he can back it up at the same time. And me and you talked about this a little bit. He's very unpredictable, but in his last fight, he literally fought the week after fighting Lane Rowe. He fought a week later and then TKO'd a guy in the very first round and looked like he had just performed light years ahead of what he did the week before. It's like he's already learned from mistakes that he had, and his losses grew from it and is already winning again in the next week. So he's fighting a guy that we got to watch in Louisville, and I immediately texted you. I said, I sent you a matchup. I was like, we got to make this. And you're like, well, he's already paired up with somebody else. But Keaston McLean – no easy walk in the park, and I said this for Jermaine last time too, but Jermaine is no walk in the park for anybody either. So these two guys match up perfectly. Talk to me a little bit about Jermaine Anthony versus Keaston McLean. What went through your head for this one?
Man, so Jermaine, like you said, Jermaine is a gamer. That guy went and fought the next weekend. He's fighting, actually, I don't know if you see his post. He texted me today. He's fighting either this Saturday or next Saturday. He said, don't worry about it. I'm going to be good for January. I'm going to mop the floor with this guy. It's no problem. So that I'm excited to see, I hope everything goes good so he can make sure he fights for us, and I'm pretty sure he will. But Keaston, man, for him to go fighting Lane, which is one of the top up and coming 155ers, 145ers, and he matched well with Lane. He took Lane down in the first round, which I thought was impressive. And then, Lane, I think his cardio kind of bothered him. I don't know if me and you talked about it, but Jermaine had the flu the week before, like maybe a week before the fight. So that could have affected him a little bit. But it's good. This is going to make for a banger, man. Keaston, he's probably, dude is so good. He checks every box. He knows what he needs to work on, and it ain't much. He's good everywhere. He shows up to the weigh-ins, man. He looks like he's out of a movie, man. He's got his dress stuff on, like Keaston's impressive, man. I like Keaston. He's a good guy. He come down and trained with us before. I've said this 3 times already or 4 times, but that's the most exciting thing of the night. And then we got the main event right after it. So I don't know what I can say for the main event next.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I feel like I could sit here and talk about this co-main event forever because I really like both of these guys a lot.
Right.
And I can't wait to see what happens.
Hey, look at Keaston's his rankings. He just posted them the other day. He's like number 1 in one state, number 2 in one state.
1, 2, 3, 2, yeah. And it's like, holy moly, man. And so, like, 3-fight win streak. He's won his last fight via TKO in round 2. 7 of his 8 wins are by finish itself. He's very well-rounded. He was a wrestler in high school, I think. And, it's just like, guy not pro. I asked him in our interview, I was like, when are you turning pro? He's like, oh, no rush. I'm like, what?
He wants the experience. But I forgot. Let me tell you, Jermaine's. When I gave him Keaston's name, Jermaine said, "I figured that's who it would be. We've crossed paths." He said, "Let's get it." I mean, no, dude didn't. He didn't want to go like look him up to see, how they match. Jermaine's down. He don't care. He's down to fight. He's confident, and like you said, he can back it up. So
yeah,
this will be a banger, man. Two of the top 155ers in the region.
As soon as you sent me that matchup, I messaged Jermaine. I said, I see you're on the card. How you feeling? He said, I'm ready. He's like, it could be next week. I'm ready. It don't matter. And it's like you said, he's just game always. I'm like, I love it because he backs up the talk too.
That's right.
Let's move on to the main event because the main event, we got a lot to talk about as well. Bantamweight Championship is very early in the career right now. 4 fights each. These guys are very impressive. Franco Serpa versus Corbin Lyons for the Bantamweight Championship at Black Tie Boxing. Serpa's on a 3-fight win streak. All of his wins are by first-round submission. It's going to sound very familiar. I'm going to sound like a broken record because Corbin Lyons, all 4 of his wins are by first-round submission. I mean, talked about this. Whenever you pair 2 jiu-jitsu guys together, you expected a grappling match, and then you could see a boxing match the whole time. Very exciting for a lot of different reasons. Talk to me a little bit about these 2 guys and what made you pick these 2 for the main event.
Man, so Franco, obviously he deserves it. He put on a good show at the last card. He's fought for us before. I know the skills there. I know what team he comes from. I know his training partners. I've seen him fight multiple times. He's more than ready for a title fight and more deserving. I couldn't think of anybody else that deserved it more than him. So that's the main reason I picked him. And same thing with Corbin. He's new to the game. I don't want to misquote. I think he's only been training like 2 years, maybe less. Which is
I think
crazy.
it was 18 months whenever he fought at Hub City.
So yeah, under 2 man,
18 months.
And he's 4-0 first round submissions. And like you said just a minute ago, I can see this being a stand-up war. If one of them gets a knockdown or a takedown, maybe it goes to the ground. But I think like they might get the takedown to score the points and then actually like stand back up. You see it in the UFC. When two ground guys get matched together, sometimes it ends up being a stand-up war. Actually, more times than not, it ends up being more of a stand-up fight because they don't know if they want to fill each other out. I would be interested. I wish we had time to do one of the interviews like we did and kind of see where their headspace is at. Because both of them are submission artists, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So, but I've trained with Corbin and I've seen Franco. I know both of them have stand-up. So I don't know how they haven't. I mean, I guess the submission is just there and they take it. But Corbin is like he's elusive. He's hard to hit. He might resort to grappling when he's given the opportunity if somebody clinches with him, but I think he might stand up with Franco, and we might see a little bit of a kickboxing match at least for the first part of the rounds.
Dude, and so like I talked to you a little bit about this before too. In the film that I watch, I do a lot of film study. I like to know who I'm talking about whenever we're at these fights and things like that. I don't like to go in blind. When I watched film for Corbin's fights, whenever he was fighting title back at Hub City, one thing that I noticed is that in the stand-up, he's got a chin, but he elects to take some shots sometimes when standing up. And I don't think with Franco you're going to be able to do that quite a bit. I think that that's going to be one of the game changers or one of the puzzle pieces really that could determine an outcome in this fight. But Corbin has great stand-up as well too. So I don't think there's one place that one person is better in this fight. I think both of them are very well rounded. I think they're both very evenly matched. And I think the main event has, fight of the night potential written all over it.
Yeah. I don't think this ends in a submission. I would almost be willing to bet this fight doesn't end in a submission. So you give me your opinion on how you see this fight ending. You don't have to pick a winner. I'm just curious of if you had to, if it doesn't go to this, or well, no, you just tell me how it ends. You tell me how it ends.
So one of two ways, right? it being a stand-up match, but I think if it is a stand-up match, that it goes on longer. I think that is it going to be 3 or 5 rounds?
I prefer three. If both guys agree, we'll do five. But as a promotion, I just like to keep it three. They're amateurs, not getting paid for it, so I don't see the reason for putting them through 5 rounds unless they both ask for it. So
I'm going to pull up one thing on Franco real quick because I'm curious. Has Franco even ever made it out of the first round? Look at this. Lawton, I'm doing your job. What are you doing? Okay, so even in his defeat, Franco didn't make it out of the first round. So neither one of the guys have ever seen the second round, which is interesting too. So I doubt they both have the cardio, but I'm curious if it does go around round 2, round 3, what do both fighters look like? That is my puzzle piece there. If it goes on longer than 1.5 rounds, what does the cardio look like for both these guys? I think that it probably goes to decision. I don't know if either one of them finish each other because I think they're both really good and everywhere. I think this might be a decision fight, but being that every fight ends in finish because we've got to one up the Hub City card. We can't go to decision. None of the Hub City fights went to decision. We got to go all.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I agree. I don't see it being a submission. I think the way I picked the winner of this fight, they're both going to have good cardio. I know that. I'm not even questioning that. I can speak for Corbin. I've seen his in the gym, but Franco 100% will be able to go 5 rounds if it was a 5-round fight. So I don't think that'll play into it. What I think plays into it is who has the better stand-up. We don't know. We haven't seen enough. So who's going to win that stand-up and clinch battle? It may not be on the ground, but it may end up being against the wall, and who can control who for the majority of the time if it does go to decision. Very interesting fight. I can't wait, man. I'm so excited for that matchup, man. It's one of my favorite that I've watched in a long time, and one of the most even fights that I've watched in a long time.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that's one of the harder things as a matchmaker, fight card maker is making them even because you can get guys that seem even on paper, but it doesn't always work out that way. But I think these guys on paper, but also from watching them fight, like these two are pretty identical to each other. One fun fact about Franco is in his last fight with Mason Delk, I don't think there was any strikes landed at all or even thrown. I think that was the one, Lawton, where we were like, was there somebody said in the chat on the YouTube live, it was like there was 0 strikes thrown in that fight whatsoever. So
that's interesting. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Franco might come out and try to wrestle Corbin.
Dude.
I don't know. That's what makes this fight so interesting.
Yeah. I'm excited. Well, Ryan, we went through all the fights. I want you to pick. What are your top 3? What are your top 3 fights that you are most excited about as the promoter and as the fight card matchmaker?
Well, of course, I got my favorite guys, man, that I've watched over the years, just outside of the gym that I've kind of met. Like I said, I don't want to pick 3 favorites. Of course, the 3 most deserving are going to be the title fights. All those guys I have personal relationships with. They've all fought for me before, and they've all earned where they're at. I like Stamps. First time I met him was at the last Hub City show. The attitude and the hype he brings at the weigh-ins and the way he pumped up his teammates, man, I just automatically just love the way he handled the thing. Like it just made me want to book him again. The new guy Trevor at Hub City, I'm interested to see him. Austin Little, I became an automatic fan within 1 minute of his fight. And his coach John and Dogwood BJJ and Gosberg, one of the nicest coaches, so easy to work with. Man, you could go on and on. I don't really necessarily have 3 favorites, but I would say these title fights, and like that 170 and that 185 fight, 185 pound fight that we went over right before the title fights, are all main card, top level of the area. Just keep your eye out for these guys. Any of these guys could be, in the UFC in 2-3 years.
Ooh. I like it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Black Tie and Boxing 24 fight card. February 13th, Tennessee. There's still general admission tickets, correct?
Yes, you can hop online. I post a link on my Facebook. So Hub City events. You can find general admission. It's going to be all balcony seating, so there's not a bad seat in the house. They did sell out last year, so hop on there and get them if you plan on going. Because once they're gone, we're not going to have any standing room or anything like that. So if you plan on going, get your tickets, man. Because like you just heard, there's so many good fights. Female fights, kickboxing fights, MMA fights. I think we have everything but maybe like a heavyweight fight on here. So
I can gain a few pounds. We can put it on.
I think you need more than a few. I'm looking at like what 125. Hey,
That's the stream. We're done.
I'll have fun, man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in on the fight card announcement. Make sure to check out the first video if you didn't watch it, where you heard the first like 8 fights. This one was the last like 5 or so. We cannot wait for the fight card. See you there. And Ryan, you got anything else?
Man, no, thank y'all, Knuckle Sandwich, Lawton for running behind the scenes in the background. He's got the best camera out of all of us, and he's not on the stream. I don't know why. We're both on. We appreciate y'all, man. I thank y'all. Y'all are helping me promote these fights. You're helping promote the fighters in the area, and what you're doing around the regional MMA scene is helping these guys. So I love watching it. I want to watch y'all grow, and y'all do an awesome job, man.
We can't wait to be there. We can't wait to commentate, and we can't wait to pull out some interesting facts. I already saw that Jamil Jones is a avid fisherman on his YouTube. Can't wait to say that on the commentary.
Nice.
I already wrote it down.
You're studying, man.
All right,
see you on January 13th.
Team, peace out.